Got some more knives that were surrendered to the TSA and that I subsequently found and purchased from the Texas State Surplus Store in Austin. This is one visit to the store. Walk you through what I found and what I paid for it, and what I have in mind for it or have already done to it. First thing is I have already cleaned all these up with rubbing alcohol, and most of them I have also disassembled and cleaned up internally with the little CLP. I've got some swabs and some rags for cleaning things up. So yeah, and the scales on some of these, if I can get it down to just a plastic part or a nylon piece like I did when I disassembled this Endura, I was able to wash those scales with soap and water, just dish soap, and made a big difference. I probably should have taken some before photos, but I just kind of got right into working on him, and neglected to do that. So, but you can take my word for it that they were all quite a bit dirtier when I started. So let me show you what I've got here. Let's start at the top. This is Essie Zancudo, right? And this is the D2 model. Similar looking to the Ontario Rat, the smaller Rat pocket knife, because it was designed by the same people. This, though, is, instead of a liner lock, this is a frame lock, steel frame lock, and it does have a deeper sort of finger groove here, that the shape of the handle is a little different. The Rat is more neutral in its handle shape, so it's going to be comfortable for people with hands of all different sizes. This one fits my hand pretty well for a small knife. I can get all 4 fingers on there, and it feels pretty locked in. As you can see, the black coating on the blade has taken a beating, but that's kind of inevitable if you're going to use it. This was $15 at the state surplus store, which is not an amazing bargain. These are very affordable knives new. I think this one goes for just under $40, brand new in D2. The OS 8 version of this is even cheaper. But, as a user, I mean, obviously it's not going to be a collector's item or anything, but paying $15 for one that's basically going to work as well as a new one, I suppose is fine. So there's the Essie Zancudo. Zancudo is Spanish for mosquito, and the icon, the little logo on this knife blade is a mosquito, but if you look closely, it is this pocket knife with this handle shape. It's like half folded. It's like that position with wings drawn on it, right, and legs. It's got the blade coming down like the proboscis of the mosquito, and then the handle is the thorax of the mosquito. All right, so good little user. This is only the second time I've ever seen a J5 Western knife, and the previous time it was also a knife that I picked up at the state surplus store. I have checked out their website. They're still in business and selling knives. This model sells for about $50 on their website. It is D2 steel, and it's got sort of a stone-washed finish. Micarta handles, skeletonized steel liners. This one had a bunch of gunk up here that I ended up, when I disassembled it, I ended up scraping off a bunch of gunk in the pocket clip, and then I realized later that that was super glue and that it was there for a reason. There's this screw, the hole that it's going into is stripped, I guess, because it won't hold on to anything. So I may have to resort to a similar a similar method in order to get that pocket clip tamed. But other than that, other than the pocket clip issue, it's a good little knife. Had a couple of tiny chips in the blade, but I have sharpened it to the point that those have disappeared. And it's got a pretty good flipping action. It's on ball bearings. And really the previous J5 Western knife that I looked at really reminded me of a Bestech, and so I speculated that maybe Bestech was their OEM. This one reminds me more of a CGRB. So maybe it's Artisan Cutlery that's their OEM. Artisan is the parent company of CGRB. But yeah, it kind of has the same feel and some of the same kind of aesthetics. This was $15. Again, not a super amazing bargain, but other than that pocket clip, it's a good little carry knife. This one is a collaboration, evidently, between Ka-Bar, which is a venerable old American cutlery company based in New York State, and Messerin, or Messerin, which is a Italian cutlery company. It's the model KM 241T, made in Italy. I believe this is 440A steel. It doesn't say so, but I was poking around on the internet, and that seems to be what this line of knives. There were several different models that were the sort of similar, black coated blade and black aluminum handles. There were collab between Ka-Bar and Maserin. Yeah, it's got both thumb studs and an opening hole. It's a liner lock. Pretty good lockup. I'm not a big fan of hawkbill blades in general. This one sharpened up easily, and it is pretty sharp now. With the grip is a little weird because it's prescriptive, and it's my fingers are a little too big for two fingers to go into that area. I mean, I can squeeze them in barely, but it's not comfortable. And then one up here, there's not enough room up here for a finger without running the risk of cutting yourself. And then you can put your pinky on there, but it's kind of like out there. Now, of course, hawkbills, a lot of the time people are holding them in a reverse grip, which, ow, I just poked myself. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there we go. Tiny little poke. That's what happens when you're awkwardly handling a blade around a tripod. It's a good thing I disinfected this blade with alcohol real good, because who knows what was on it before that. Oops. Yeah, so reverse grip, again, it's prescriptive. It's kind of a weird position to hold your hand in, and then your index finger is in a kind of an awkward space up here, right? And you can't go below that, because then you're going to definitely cut yourself, huh? Yeah, so that's the hawkbill that I picked up. This was, I think, also 15 bucks. I have a little bit of buyer's remorse about picking this one up. I don't have a use for it. I'll probably end up giving it to somebody who thinks it looks cool or something. But yeah, whatever. CRKT knives, a lot of them I don't really care for very much. Mainly just because they use kind of cheap materials for a lot of their knives. Very, very commonly they'll use 8CR13 MOV, which is an okay steel. It's definitely a budget steel. It's reasonably tough, but it doesn't hold an edge all that well. It takes an edge. You can sharpen it to where it's, nice and sharp, but it'll get dull quickly. This one, although it doesn't say anything about the blade steel on it, this model is the No Time Off. And it's an Ikoma design, or Ikoma. This one, I looked it up, and it is BD1 steel, which is still a budget steel, but preferable, at least, I would prefer it in most cases to the 8CR13 steel that they use on a lot of CRKT knives. It will hold an edge longer than 8CR13 for sure. It's slightly less tough, but this is such a beefy, stout, blade, and it doesn't really have an acute point on it. So I don't think that, I'm going to break this blade, and I don't, I think BD1 steel is definitely a win in this case. The looks like it's got a little bit of staining up there that I haven't gotten off yet. I might try and do something about that. I did sharpen it. It is good and sharp now. The thing about this is it is really thick. Let's compare it. If you look, this is a Endura, and that's basically the thickness of a liner, a steel liner, and a handle scale beyond the thickness of the Endura. So that's a fat handled knife, which would make it a little awkward in pocket, but pretty comfortable in hand. The other thing that I like about this is what they've done with the pocket clip here. They've got the point of contact kind of recessed a little bit into this area of the scale that's milled out, or well, formed. I mean, it's not actually milled out. This is probably a formed synthetic material. But anyway, it's recessed, and so that means that this pocket clip really doesn't stick out very much, and it's quite comfortable. And they've got there's jimping here, there's jimping up here on the spine of the blade where you could put a fingertip or thumb. There's a good finger choil with jimping. This is a very comfortable knife. For a pocket knife, the pocket clip is often sort of the weak point in terms of ergonomics and comfort on a pocket knife, and they've managed this one in a pretty smart way. Although, it's got this weird lock. CRKT does this sometimes, where they add like an extra safety feature to their locking mechanisms, so you got to do something extra. There's like an extra touch that you have to do in order to unlock a blade, which it's kind of gimmicky, and yeah, I'm not really a fan. But this one, you have to just rock this part of the liner forward by pressing on it, and then you can push the liner to the side and close it. And it's on ball bearings, so it opens pretty smoothly and pretty quickly. What was I in the middle of saying? I don't know. I was about to say something, and I got sidetracked by that liner lock. The pocket clip is it's positioned for tip down carry only, right? So a lot of people like to carry tip up. This one is tip down only and right side carry only, right? Well, I guess you could do it left side carry, but then the blade to be facing the wrong way. It'd be pretty awkward. So it's right side tip down, and it's going to be a big chunk in your pocket. So carrying it might have a couple of shortcomings, but I'm happy with this find. This was $15. This is a discontinued model from CRKT, and it looks like the original MSRP on them was about $100. All right, so there's that one. What else do we have here? We've got a stainless steel Dragonfly in VG-10. It is, if I get the light on it, you can see it's had a good bit of use, but it's not in bad shape, Essie City, Japan. I sharpened this. It did have a little sort of a rolled edge, one little spot there near the, kind of out near the tip. This, I think, is an older one. It's not a super old one, but I think most of the more recent models have jimping back here and maybe also here. But it's the full flat grind, which is usually desirable. And yeah, it's it's a $100 knife that I got for $30. And then this one, of course, is the most interesting piece on the table today. This is an Endura with a Damascus blade. It's a VG-10 Damascus, so it's going to have similar performance in terms of edge retention, toughness, corrosion resistance as the standard Endura, except it's going to look cool because it's layered and has this awesome pattern in it. And it does have the usual text over here. It says, VG-10 and Essie City and stuff, but it's awfully hard to read because of the pattern of the Damascus gets kind of crazy in that part of the blade. It's got this dark blue FRN handle scale. There was a version of the Endura with a Damascus blade and titanium handles that was like a sprint run or something, and those are pretty valuable. Those go for, I've seen them listed for a couple $100 at least, on a secondary market used. This is not that. This is a dealer exclusive that was for Knifejoy. Knifejoy is a online retailer, and they've done a number of exclusive knives with Spyderco, including other Damascus ones with the same handle color of the, I think they did a Delica and a Dragonfly. And you know, I took this apart and cleaned it up real good. It was a little dirty, had a little bit of internal rust starting to show up on the scales inside and stuff. Got that all cleaned up, and it you know, drops shut almost pretty easily, and you know, I can Spidey flick it open with the middle finger, or of course you can open it with your thumb, no problem. This one did have a busted tip, and I ground off a little bit of the spine and a little bit off the blade edge side of the tip, and then resharpened it. And I didn't do a fantastic job. I did an okay job. You can kind of tell something's not right there. But, you know, this was $45, I think. And when you could get them from Knifejoy, they were $110, but you can't get them anymore. It's a discontinued model. So I don't think you're likely to find this for $45 anywhere else. So I think I did all right there. And you know, I didn't have one of these Damascus Spydercos. Now I do. So that's my find. That's this week's trip to the state surplus store. I want to show you one other thing real quick. Last time I did a video on the used knives from the state surplus store, I showed you a Spyderco Cricket that was in pretty rough shape, and it was full, you know, rusty, and I had disassembled it, and I said I was going to clean it up, and I did. So there it is, and cleaned up good, you know. Still got a little chip out of the tip there that I haven't dealt with, but basically, you know, there's a little bit of pitting in a couple spots, but it looks a hell of a lot better than the last time I had it on a YouTube video, so thought I'd share that update with you. Okay, so there's some used knives that I pulled out of bins at the state surplus store that people had to surrender to TSA in order to get on their flights. Oh, one thing about this that I neglected to mention. I assumed when I saw this that there must have been something in here, some kind of an emblem or something that fell out, because it just looks like a weird hole. But no, I looked on the CRKT website, and that's just how it was designed. I don't know that it serves any function. I mean, I guess it would no, it doesn't let water drain out because the liner covers it up. This is not skeletonized either. This liner is solid steel, so that adds a bit of weight, and it like, you know, you're going to know that you've got this knife in your pocket. But you know, it's intended as a work knife for somebody who's going to have to do some long and tedious cutting tasks. So anyway, that's just how that looks. I'm still happy with it. All right, that's enough for today. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.